Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Police arrest a man seen in viral video assaulting a suspect. We have details as the Interior Ministry directs the IGP to investigate circumstances surrounding the assault.
The Minister's directive is to take effect immediately, and so the IGP is supposed to take up the matter immediately. The Minister also wants to state categorically that there is no room whatsoever for violence of any kind.
Also on the program this afternoon, 11 confirmed dead, several others battling for their life and battling life-threatening injuries after yet another road crash on the Ofanko-Achimota Highway. We'll bring you the latest. Much later on the program, 10% of people who use drugs started before the age of 15, while 54% began before turning 19. That's according to University of Ghana School of Public Health. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this afternoon. The Ghana Police Service says it has arrested Sibame Zakaria, a man captured in a viral video assaulting a suspect. An official statement shared on the service's Facebook page doesn't name the assaulted suspect or where the said assault occurred. The assaulted individual is believed to be suspect Daniel Jr. Yaweje, alias Apostle Daniel J.Y. Ej, a pastor seen in a viral video making derogatory remarks against the Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him. Now, the remarks attracted a response from an imam, Masood Abdullah, who was also arrested in connection with a video in which he made statements advocating violence against persons who speak ill of Prophet Muhammad. The police say that the imam allegedly made the statement while delivering a sermon at a mosque in Tensri in the Achimangwa Biaja North District of the Ashanti region. The Ministry of the Interior has also been reacting to this, releasing a statement, and Wisdom Safo is with our research desk. He joins us live now with some more. Wisdom, give us the details of the statement coming from the Interior Ministry.
So, Beatrice, this morning, we saw some posts on the Ghana Police social media on a manhunt for a man captured assaulting a suspect in a viral video. So they commenced the manhunt, and few minutes later, there was a post on the Minister of Interior's social media, and they have three main asks. So the first one was a direction to the IGP to investigate the circumstances under which civilians gained access to the arrested person and identify any police personnel who may have facilitated, permitted, or acquiesced in the breach of custody, and take appropriate disciplinary action against any officer found culpable. And the Minister of Interior also directed the IGP to take immediate steps to identify, arrest, investigate the civilian person involved in the assault in accordance with the law, and also query all supervising officers directly responsible for the custody and supervision of the person involved. Few hours later, we saw a post from the police, and from the post, it suggests that the police has arrested the suspect in the viral video assaulting the person in custody. So the police arrested the suspect. His name is Sibame Zakaria. He was captured in the viral video assaulting the suspect in custody. But what does the law say when it comes to assault. You know, every human being has dignity, and it's even established in the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, Article 541, which says that the dignity of all persons shall be inviolable, meaning you can't violate the dignity of a person. If you look at our Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, the Section 84, it says that whoever unlawfully assaults any person is guilty of a misdemeanor, and a misdemeanor is a small sentence, all right, but up to 3 years in custody. So this is in a nutshell, that's what is happening.
But let me take you back to the Interior Ministry statement where you talk about the direction, as it were, or the directive to bring all those to book. Were there any timelines, if you could remind us again?
So there were no specific timelines as to when they didn't say maybe 24 hours, we didn't know. They just gave them the direction that arrest these people, but they've already arrested the suspect. And as to when the disciplinary actions and the queries and sanctions will be applied to the supervising officers as well will be determined by the IGP and the police department, Beatrice.
Indeed, thank you very much, Wisdom Stafford, who is with our research desk. But let's listen to the spokesperson of the Interior Ministry, Julius Anthony.
And so the minister is directing that the circumstances that led to civilians having access to that individual be investigated. And officials who are supposed to be in charge, who may have acquiesced in their duty or facilitated that, whichever the case may be, should be appropriate sanctioned in accordance with law. The minister also wants to state categorically that there is no room whatsoever for violence of any kind, whether inspired by religion, ill feelings, or whatever, in Ghana. And that such actions will be punished in accordance with law. And so this matter will be dealt with accordingly, and the minister has so directed. Well, there are clear rules of conduct for police officials, and when those rules are breached, then that must be established according to their disciplinary procedure, and those disciplinary procedures have spelled out what the sanctions have to be, and so the findings have to be made fair. Someone must be identified to have either acquiesced, facilitated, or actively allowed this to happen. And if those findings are made, it depends on what the person's role is, that sanctions would accordingly follow. What we want to assure the public is that the matter is not going to be left hanging. The matter would be looked into, and whoever is found culpable will be dealt with in accordance with law. Well, the minister's directive is to take effect immediately, and so the IGP is supposed to take up the matter immediately.
And you have Anthony Julius. He speaks for the Ministry of the Interior. Some 8 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more. Stay with us.
3FM.
FM 92.7. Let's bring you some more here. And 10% of people who use drugs started before the age of 15, while 45% began before turning 19. That's according to the University of Ghana School of Public Health. As Ghana marks International Youth Day, the Narcotics Control Commission is sounding the alarm over substance abuse among young people. The Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC, Major General Maxwell Obuba, raised concerns over the increasingly young age at which some people in Ghana begin using drugs, warning that the trend poses a serious threat to the country's youth. Authorities are therefore urging young people to resist curiosity, peer pressure, and misinformation that could push them into drug use. Let's bring in Ashanti Regional Correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar, who's been following the story for us. Ibrahim, what more do we know about these harrowing details?
Well, so NACOC also stated that in 2025 alone, about 1,179 people received treatment for substance abuse or substance use disorders at 30 treatment centers across Ghana. And when you look at this, in terms of percentage, 88.5% of the 1,179 constitute people who were between the ages of 20 and 44 years. And these are people within the working age. For that matter, NACOC, or I would say the Director General of NACOC, is saying that when you look at these figures, it should serve as a warning, particularly to young people, that regardless of your intellect, regardless of your expertise, knowledge, when you engage in drug abuse, then you will be playing with your future, because he also cited instances where he's been to rehabilitation centers, then he finds doctors, nurses, professionals who are receiving treatment there. And this is not because they don't have the intellect, but because they have decided to engage in drug abuse. And for that matter, they are urging the youth to ensure that the danger of drug abuse is not only limited to substance abuse, but then they should ensure that they wouldn't go very close to it. And also, he talked about some misconceptions surrounding cannabis and tramadol, where the youth are being told that these are for medicinal purposes. And the information is that, or the advice is that, yes, these are legitimate medical substances. However, taking them beyond prescribed doses or without proper medical guidance can result in some of these drug addiction and so on. So, let's listen to what Major General Obuba has been telling the youth at the International Youth Day.
Stop before curiosity becomes experimentation. Stop before experimentation becomes regular use. And stop before a decision that may seem small today begin to affect your health, your education, your relationships, and ultimately your future. This is not something we should joke with. This is not something we should experiment. And I want to tell you, no matter how intelligent you are, if you do drugs, you will not and never achieve your ambition.
And he had the Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission. Ibrahim Abubakar is still on the line with us. Beyond the caution, though, what did the DG say as regards what they intend to do to ensure people still do not abuse drugs?
Yes, the Commission is strengthening drug education in schools and communities, and also even promoting drug clubs to prevent substance abuse before it develops into dependence. So that is what they are doing beyond the enforcement and other things. So they are making the arrest, and they are also trying to engage the youth that they shouldn't even start anything drugs before, because the minute you enter into it, coming out becomes very, very difficult. So they are strengthening that education and also adding the bit of enforcement to make sure that they are able to save the future generation of the country.
The Minister for Youth, also Jojo Parado, also spoke at this event. What exactly did he say?
Well, for the minister, he was.
Hello, Ibrahim. Okay, we've lost Ibrahim Abubakar there, who is Ashanti regional correspondent. But let's hear Mr. George Opariado equally speaking at the event.
Today is a day for you as young people. Today is a day that we should reflect on what we can do. Like I shared with you yesterday, what we can do to build the Ghana we all want. Today is a day that we must reflect as young people, that what are we going to do differently to be able to position ourselves, to take advantage of the many programs this government is rolling out for young people.
And he had George Opariado. He is the youth minister, and we'll return to this story very quickly. But let's bring you one of our headline stories about 11 people who are reported dead, while several others sustained serious degrees of injuries after a tipper truck collided with a sprinter bus at the Ofankor barrier on the Accra-Kumasi highway in the early hours of today. It eventually led to a number of vehicles getting involved in it. Now, the crash left the sprinter bus badly mangled, trapping several passengers inside and triggering a major rescue operation at the scene. Here's a report that was brought in to us earlier. And we'll bring you that report very shortly. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us.
Accra, Ghana. One national is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready?
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Now, at least 5 diagnostic laboratories in Ho, the Volta region, have been shut down by the Allied Health Professions Council, AHPC, for various regulatory breaches in an ongoing compliance monitoring visit. The The move, according to the Registrar of the Allied Health Professions Council, Dr. Shirazu Isahaku, is in line with the Council's mandate to ensure public safety as far as the operations of the labs are concerned. Correspondent Fiscal Abdul-Idrisu joins us with some more on this. Faisal, if you can hear me, tell us more about how we got here in the first place and the reasons given by the AHPC.
Yeah, so, Beatrice, the Allied Health Professional Council began its monitoring exercise here in the region 2 days ago. They started from Ho and have visited a number of hospitals and diagnostic centers across the capital. The worry, however, is that the council says that they have observed various breaches of the regulations governing the operations of diagnostic centers. Particularly among them is the issue of these facilities operating machines with people who are not trained to use those machines. They also observed that some of the facilities are operating machines that are obsolete, machines that were used some 30 years ago and are not good to be used today. All of these, the council says that in the end, does not ensure patient safety. The other point they are making is also the fact that when you get to the front desk, where there should be a health information officer, some of these facilities have employed people who are not trained, and what it means also is that people who are not trained are now coming into contact with patients' data, and the guarantee that they are going to safeguard and keep these information very confidential is not there. And so these facilities, those that are in breach, the council has taken steps to shut them down. And that's exactly what the council say it is going to do from now till they are able to ensure that all of these facilities are able to comply with the regulations governing the operations of the diagnostic centers. Let's have a listen to Dr. Sharizu Isahaku, who has been speaking to us on these very developments.
I'm sorry, we don't have that yet, but at the end of the day, there is an impact of this shutdown, as it were. What happens? What is next for those, the facilities and for those who use them?
Yes, so the council says that these issues that have been observed for each of the facilities, they are sending an official letter to them indicating their violations, and they will urge them to take steps to resolve them. Once that is done, they will come back and reopen. Yesterday, some of the facilities, for instance, when we visited the Grace Diagnostic Center, one of the facilities that was shut down, there were people already in line sitting to take turns to be for scans. But because of the shutdown, they have had to send them away. I am also aware of the fact that the whole teaching hospital, for instance, don't do a lot of scans within the premises of the hospital. So oftentimes they refer people to facilities like the Grace Diagnostic that was closed yesterday, Eagles Lancet, an imaging center that was also closed yesterday, the RD Access Laboratories also closed yesterday, Elisa Diagnostic Professional Eye Care Center also closed, and then Best Lab Diagnostics, very close to the hospital, was also closed. What it means is that clients that visit these places, particularly because they are closer to the whole teaching hospital, would have to look elsewhere until all these issues are resolved and the facilities reopened. Beatrice.
All right, thank you very much. And Faisal Abdul-Idrisu is our Volta regional correspondent. Some 23 minutes past the hour of 12. Now, the Chief Justice of Ghana, His Lordship Justice Paul Bafoboni, has called for stronger collaboration between management and staff of the Judicial Service to improve the administration of justice. He says trade unionism and management must not be viewed as adversaries, but as partners working towards a common goal of delivering justice efficiently, fairly, and with dignity. He was speaking at the second quadrennial Delegate Congress of the Senior Staff Association of the Judicial Service of Ghana in Sunyani in the Bono region. There's a report by Claude Kumi Ebisa. Listen to this.
The Congress brought together members of the Senior Staff Association of the Judicial Service to deliberate on issues affecting their work and the administration of justice. Speaking on the theme, Trade Unionism in Service, Partnership with Management and Quality Justice Administration, Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafoboni, said a healthy relationship between management and staff is crucial to the effective functioning of the judicial service.
Management has responsibilities to staff, staff in equal measure have responsibilities to the institution. We must create a working environment in which people are treated fairly. Their concerns are heard. Merit is recognized. Opportunities for professional growth are available. And legitimate grievances are addressed through proper institutional channels. The true test of a mature institution is not the absence of disagreements, but the capacity to disagree without destroying the relationship that enables the institutions to function.
Meanwhile, the national president of the Senior Staff Association of the Judicial Service of Ghana, SAJU, Marilyn Morin Suta, appealed to the Chief Justice to ensure a full implementation of the condition of service under CI 141 and conclude salary negotiations for 2027 before leaving office.
As we always say, a hungry man is an angry man. No workforce can deliver excellent results when it appears that there is a perpetual uncertainty about ever attaining decent working conditions. My Lord, I will remain grateful, especially for the coming into force of the CI 141 in your tenure of office. May I respectfully use this opportunity to humbly plead with you to ensure the implementation of the CI and the conclusion of salary negotiations for 2027 before you leave office. My Lord, it will be the one thing we will forever be indebted to you for.
Labour, Jobs and Employment Minister Dr. Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelbo has urged government and workers to prioritize dialogue in addressing working conditions, warning that frequent strikes could worsen economic challenges.
When you ask for something and the response is not coming quickly, you jump into strike. It is a compounded problem you have created. So I want to urge you that even though you have needs and many of us have an interest in them, let us also think into how these demands can be met as expected by you. If they're not met as quickly as you demand, still continue to follow, and we will continue to listen.
Claude Kumi, Ebisa, TV3 News, Sunyane.
Now, let's bring you this one. The opposition New Patriotic Party has scheduled to conduct its national executive elections on Saturday, October 3, 2026, with a strong caution to aspirants and supporters to be decorous in their campaign activities. Aspirants for national chairman are expected to pay 50,000 Ghana cedis for nomination forms, while vice chairman aspirants will pay 30,000 cedis, with general secretary going for 25,000 cedis. The party will open nominations from next week, urging aspirants to abreast themselves with the rules governing the process. Yes, okay, so let's speak to Christian Yale, who is our man on this beat for us. Chris, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, so Beatrice, what we know is that the NPP's calendar, they have settled on October 3rd to conduct the elections. In fact, what is expected is that having vetted the aspirant, they would go ahead to publish the vetting results. Then, before the notice of poll would be issued, they would then, make room for appeals for those who may be aggrieved with the outcome of the vetting before they would proceed to issue the notice of poll. Then, after that, on October 3rd, would have the elections conducted. Now, one of the basic rules that the elections committee has outlined is that for members who are serving on the elections committee, they cannot contest. If any of them wants to contest, they have to recuse themselves from that role before they are able to do so. Again, they cannot even affiliate themselves with any of the aspirants. Now, for all the aspirants who are seeking any of these available slots or portfolios, they must be known. They must be active members for at least 2 years, must be in good standing, of good character, and should have been able to satisfy all the vetting requirements before they can qualify to be part of the election process. And so basically, these are the rules that have been outlined, and the expectation as well is that all the aspirants would study the regulations and the rules governing the elections before they would submit their nomination. Now, basically, the chairman of the elections committee, Frederick Opariansa, has told the aspirant to campaign on merit, avoid insult and all of that, and respect one another. The same caution or advice has gone to their supporters. In the end, they say they want to ensure that NPP will still have a united front going into the 2028 elections. Now they want delegates raw.
I'm sorry, we'll have to end it here. Christian Yali. And Christian Yali there bringing us update from the NPP, giving us details regarding the internal elections. That's it for the midday news here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Log on to shrinews.com for more news. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Association of Ghana Industries, AGI warns of underlying economic risks despite forex stability, boosting business confidence.
I've already flagged some of the risks to the gains we have experienced in the first half of the year.
Also ahead, Ghana's annual tomato import bill hits 168 million cedis, exposing gaps in agricultural production. We'll bring you details. And a 2026 study by the Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation reveals Ghana's regulatory burden drains capital from small businesses. I am Bismarck Kausa. We'll bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has highlighted that recent stability in the foreign exchange market has improved business confidence and enabled companies to plan more effectively, though key underlying risks still threaten long-term industrial growth. Speaking at the AGI Corporate Forum in Accra, AGI President Dr. Kofi Nsiapoku noted that while macroeconomic indicators have stabilized, industries remain exposed to structural vulnerabilities.
Ghana has, in a relatively short period, moved from a position of acute physical distress to one where we are having a conversation about how to consolidate the hard-won gains. That is in no small achievement, and we commend government for this. Business confidence from the recent AGI barometer for Q2 2026 is still high, reflective of market confidence in the government's economic stewardship and reform agenda. Some experts have already flagged some of the risks to the gains we have experienced in the first half of the year. These include the Middle East conflicts and our heavy dependence on gold, cocoa, and oil as the main exports. The rising cost of electricity and water is a major setback. To cite an example, early this year, Electricity Corporation, ECD, withdrew from our electricity board customers a previously negotiated tariff agreement that had provided discounted end-user rates to electricity board customers.
You heard President of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Farmer Kofi Nsiapoku. Moving on, Ghana spends about $168 million annually importing fresh and processed tomatoes, highlighting a growing gap between the country's agricultural potential and actual production. Researchers at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research estimate annual demand at more than 1.4 million metric tons, while local production meets only about 15 to 18%. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
Fresh tomato imports mainly from Burkina Faso cost about $18 million annually, while processed tomato products from China and Europe account for roughly $150 million. The challenge is not a lack of suitable land. Ghana has more than 400,000 hectares considered suitable for tomato cultivation, but average yields remain between 7 and 10 tons per hectare, far below potential yields of up to 80 tons. Limited irrigation, poor access to quality seeds, pest, disease, weak extension services, and low adoption of modern farming methods continue to constrain production. More than 60% of fresh tomato import arrive between November and April, when domestic output falls during the dry season. Better use of existing irrigation schemes, stronger seed development, improved disease control, financing, storage, and reliable markets could significantly reduce imports. The experience with ginger reinforces the concern. Following a bacterial wilt outbreak, Ghana now imports more than 99% of its ginger requirements. Experts argue that stronger agricultural research and coordinated investment could reduce food imports, conserve foreign exchange, create jobs, and build more resilient domestic value chains.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on Ghana's annual tomato import bill hitting $168 million, exposing gaps in agricultural production. Now, Ghana's regulatory system is placing additional financial and administrative pressure on micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, potentially diverting scarce capital away from investment, job creation, and business expansion. A 2026 study by the Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation, based on research involving 600 MSMEs, found that overlapping institutional mandates, excessive documentation, unclear procedures, and lengthy approval processes are raising the cost of operating formally. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
The study estimates that MSMEs account for about 92% of businesses in Ghana and contribute nearly 70% of gross domestic product. Businesses surveyed spent an average of 1,030 cedis on registration, 1,275 cedis on assembly permit, and 1,600 cedis on licensing. Some licensing costs reached 3,000 Ghana cedis. For small enterprises operating with limited working capital, these expenses compete directly with spending on equipment, inventory, salaries, and expansion. The research warns that high compliance costs could discourage formalization, particularly among micro and startup businesses that have limited financial and administrative capacity. Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation is calling for a comprehensive review of the regulatory framework, including the removal of duplicated requirements, harmonization of permits, and compliance rule proportionate to business size and risk. It also proposed a unified digital platform for applications, license, and approvals, alongside clearer information on official fees and processing times. The objective is to eliminate regulation, but to ensure legitimate public protection, do not impose cost and undermine the business Ghana relies on for employment, investment, and economic growth.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on Ghana's regulatory burden draining capital from small businesses. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Kausa. Before we go, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, has raised concerns over poor budget execution, unrealistic targets, and data inconsistencies, warning that these issues undermine the credibility of the 2026 mid-year budget review. In its post-review analysis, the IFS said budget outturns for the first half of the year indicate that the budget is being poorly executed, with actual government spending falling significantly below planned levels. Government had planned to spend 172.54 billion cedis, including arrears payments, during the first half of the year. However, actual expenditure fell short by 35.6 billion cedis, representing 20.6% of the budgeted amount.
Capital expenditure fell short by as much as 14.35 billion, representing 39.3% of the budgeted amount. Government expenditure, being a key component of GDP, has a direct declining effect on GDP growth when it is restricted.
Executive Director of IFS, Dr. Said Boachi, said the revenue and GDP targets contained in the 2026 mid-year budget are not realistic, raising concerns about the assumptions underpinning government's fiscal projections.
The government has kept the total revenue and grants to GDP ratio target in the mid-year budget review at 16.8%. We still maintain that this ratio is unrealistic. By maintaining the ratio, the government appears merely to be following the budgetary tradition in the country's recent history of over-projecting total revenue and grants to GDP ratio.
The IFS also identified a number of data inconsistencies in the mid-year budget review, which it said further challenged the credibility and reliability of the fiscal data presented. IFS is calling for improved budget execution, evidence-based forecasting, a clear revenue strategy for small-scale mining, and stronger data validation to restore confidence in the budget. You heard a report on Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, warning that poor execution, unrealistic targets, and data inconsistencies undermine credibility of 2026 mid-year budget review. And that brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Thanks for your company.